Nothing else missing, eh? Nothing else missing. Detective Gumshoe, I think I should point something out to you. There is just one small contradiction in your testimony. Oh, finally. I'm getting all anxious just waiting, so hurry up, will ya? You testified that nothing else was missing from the crime scene. However, the prescription bag you mentioned was empty. Did the officers recover the medicine from the scene of the crime later? No, they didn't. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. Where, then, did the medicine disappear to? Are you too cool, pal? Are too cool, pal. Indeed. Due consideration wasn't given to the victim's prescription during the trial. Witness, why do you always overlook such vital pieces of evidence? I guess that's the most careless thing I've done so far, eh? The victim was killed by poison, and the victim's medicine mysteriously disappeared. The victim's own prescription could have been the lethal poison itself. No. Order! Well, Mr. Godot, what do you have to say to that? Huh. That's all. What? Read for the court the name of the clinic on the prescription, if you will. What's the clinic's name got to do with anything? New Ear Otolaryngological Clinic? Otolaryngological? I mean, that sounds like a throat doctor. Just what kind of illness was the victim suffering from, Mr. Godot? Hardly an illness, Your Honor. More like a bitter war wound, you could say. A war wound? The day before the incident, Mr. Elg found himself in a fight. He took a blow to the side of the head and ruptured his eardrum. He ruptured his eardrum? And what on earth was his prescription he was given? It was a cream that was to be applied topically inside the ear canal, not to be ingested. What? It's mentioned in the autopsy report if you read the fine print. Yeah, also... Fuck you, is it? No, it isn't, you motherfucker. They found traces of medicine in the victim's left ear. Yes, here it is. In very, very fine print. Almost like they didn't want you to see it. It seems Mr. L correctly applied some of the medication when he was at Tribulations. Therefore, it would be absurd to believe that he would have eaten his medication. It seems that this medication is irrelevant to the case after all. Oh. Nick, if you don't think of something quick, it'll all be over. She's right. But I can't get away with any old weak objection. What should I do? Push the medicine issue. Only moments ago, Mr. Godot made the following statement. It seems Mr. Egg correctly applied some of the medication while he was at Tribulations. The problem is, where is the cream, still? If that's the case, then why was the medication not found at the crime scene? But the medication in question was for topical use inside the ear canal. No, you're not getting the point that if there's some stuff that's missing, that means other stuff could be missing. That doesn't change the fact that it could not be found at the crime scene. However insignificant it may seem, it's a lawyer's duty to pursue the truth. Objection. You know as well as I do that the medications are relevant. It hardly seems likely that a prescription drug would contain potassium cyanide. It hardly seems likely that the coffee the waitress served would contain it either. But it did. The possibility is undeniable. That's enough. Mr. Godot, is the detective the only witness the prosecution wishes to call? Mr. Godot? I've got my own witness I'd like to call, sir. It's the old man who was there in the restaurant on the day of the murder. Victor Kudo, the pigeon hater. Very well. The matter of the disappearing medication seems a little more than trivial at best. However, it wasn't explored at all in the previous trial. And that is something that bothers me. Yay, good job, Nick. The court will adjourn for a 10-minute recess, after which we will hear the prosecution next witness. I suppose this means I'll just have to finish you off in my last 6 cups. Court's adjourned for recess. Phew, that was close. Tell me about it. I nearly died in there. That's my line, sir. No, it's my line. I think I really did die a little bit. Looks like we all nearly died in there. It can't be to believe Detective Gumshoe. How could he betray us like that? Huh? He said he'd help me, but he totally set me up. I don't think he meant to do that, Maggie. He was backed into a corner. I mean, this guy's gotta do his job, right? It's okay, I know all about lies and betrayal. I've had them my whole life. But it really hurt this time. It looked like someone punched me hard in the stomach. I hate that guy. I don't ever want to see him again. Poor Gumshoe. So the next witness is going to be that old guy from the park, right? Yeah, Mr. Kudo. Lover of waitress outfits and projectile seeds. I bet he's gonna be really stubborn. I mean, he's pretty set in his ways, you know. Hey, Maya, can you, switch to Mia real quick and put on that uniform? And do the questioning for me? Yeah, he's a big old grouch. Are you going to be able to handle him, Nick? Yeah, I can take whatever he throws at me. Literally. Even those never-ending bird seeds. I want Mia to just ask him, like, any question. So she's like... So he just agrees to everything. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? Name and occupation, if you don't mind. Name's Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too. You don't need to hear about that, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation. My occupation? Ah, listen, youngins. How much call do you think there is for kimono embroidery here? Kimono embroidery? That's what I do, or did, back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos. My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed. Wow, real craftsmen. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe you could embroider my costume someday. Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile. That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen. Now then, witness, were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident? Oh yes, I was eating some seeds over a cup of Javicino. Seeds? What do you think these are? I see. So you saw everything that happened, Gramps? Did I? Oh, yes. Yes, I did. I saw it all. Then please tell the court. We're all ears. Sure. I'll tell you. I'll tell you every last detail. He's really getting into this. The young man was reading the sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Javicino, but she put something in it. The man took one sip of it and looked like he was in terrible pain and then collapsed. That's the serving girl. They're in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. What's her name? Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress. God, you're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with old-fashioned ones? Newfangled? All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles. I tell you. Excuse me? Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away. I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, right? Yes, Your Honor. He's almost as bad as old bad. You saw the victim then. You saw Mr. Glenn Elg. I wanted to know if Guts and Brawl retained his championship or not. So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? At the location in question, there are partitions between tables on the same side of the restaurant, right? So what if there are? If you say that you could see the victim, that means that you were sitting at the table on the other side of the restaurant, correct? Huh. I go to that place to drink cappuccino. I don't go to sit. I don't remember what table I was sitting at. I mean, you go there to eye the waitress. The servant girl brought him a cappuccino, but she put something in it. Mr. Kudo, this is a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw? Victor Kudo never makes a mistake. I dot every T and cross every I. I see. My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving. I bet his eyes are only fine when he's scoping out a waitress. And I saw what the servant girl put into the cappuccino as well. I bet I know what's coming up, and something tells me I'm not going to like it. What do you put in it? Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask that the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony. Say it's a liquid, say it's a liquid, say it's a liquid. I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please? Sure. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Is this a powder? Perhaps. Did she really put that into the coffee? You tell me, boy. She took out some small brown bottle and sprinkled it in. Couldn't she have been adding sugar? Sugar in a small brown bottle like that? Like that? Witness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms? A bottle like this, perhaps? Oh, there it is. That's the one. That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume. So what did the accused put into the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you? He took just one sip? You youngins wasting everyone's time. These Javachinos cost $8. In the good old days, we would have drunk every last drop, eaten a cup, and then died. Congratulations, you have earned the title of baddiest man to grace a courtroom. So it was an immediate death. Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that is possible. Yeah, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the Javaccino I just drank turn sour in my stomach. Ah, yes, I know that feeling. And the witness, waitress, I presume she... You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by? Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is. Sorry. You can see all the way up to her, you know. She's practically naked in that uniform. Anyone can look at that. So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit. But anyone could wear just such a uniform, even me. Mr. Wright, please spare the court any further mental anguish from that image. Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together. I guess I get a bit carried away. There are other things I recognize about her, too. He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Press him. Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether the waitress was Maggie Bird or not. Quite right, Mr. Kudo. These other features that you recognize about the defendant. I would like to ask you to add them to your testimony. Sure. There's a ribbon in her hair and her apron straps were loose. Is there a ribbon in her hair? Fucking goddamn it. Anyone can wear a ribbon in her hair. You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. What about the most crucial detail of all her face? God, as if I'd remember that. Witness noticed the straps on the accused aprons. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face. That's right, I can even tell the color of the ribbon and her hair. It was red. So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt that he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling that there's something more to see somehow. Do this somehow. Let's ask about the straps. Mr. Kudo, you seem especially interested in the straps. Why is that? What? The ribbon in her hair, the straps on her apron. What's the fascination? Fascination? Objection! People have all kinds of fetishes, right? We don't need to embarrass the witness. Listen, you young upstart. I haven't got some sick strap fetish. Is there any relevance to the witness's unusual love for straps, Mr. Wright? I was just curious as to why he was so fixated on the witness's straps. As I haven't got a strap fetish, how many times do I have to repeat myself? Very well. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Kudo, and make it strapless. You think old Seedy really saw Maggie do it? Well, he probably had his eyes on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there. But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress. Yeah, that's why I go to the fucking places. I guess. She makes a good point. Hey, did I just say something clever? I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo really saw really was Maggie. That's what we have to figure out, Nick. Okay, let's go back. Go through here and pull up the other thing. Objection! Ask about the waitress's bag. The identifying features you described are all things that you would see from the back. So what? Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all? Objection! He's got you there, Gramps. People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. But the witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons. This isn't a harassment, I tell you. I'm not obsessed with straps or ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw. Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add details about any identifying features. Features you observe from the front, that is, to your testimony. Sure. This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. If I can't find a hole in it soon, I'll get even longer, I bet. It'll get even longer. Really? Will you leave it at? Oh my god. You didn't find anything to be distinct. You did clearly see the witness's face, correct? Or yes. And she has glasses. It's a pretty easy identifying feature. No question about it. I didn't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down. That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. You do you, buddy. This turned into a matter of pride. Okay. I wonder if he really did. Like I said, I need some concrete proof on this. Maybe show glasses at this point. To really just absolutely break him. Do you think old CD really saw him? No. Let's present Maggie. Really? He's not gonna say like there's nothing, you know, unique about the front. I can't say she clearly has glasses and you'd notice that if you noticed anything else. Here you go. Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this. That filthy thing would suit, filth like you perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating. Have you ever seen this before? Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forgotten something as dirty as that? Well, you half-wit clot. Well, what is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's an eerie silence in here. Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means if you had really seen this apron before... Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. And you couldn't have possibly seen the witness from the front. Oops. Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this. Huh. Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, Troy. Here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant. That being the defendant, Miss Maggie Bird. Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching. I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing. Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps. You can rely on me, Captain. My nog is in perfect working order. I can't remember a single occasion when I forgot what a burger a customer wanted. He can't remember. Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out. Can't remember when he got one right. Very well, let's just see how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim. Here's another one of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand. And a noisy brat kept rustling its pages. The noisy brat. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. And then the serving girl in question brought over the cappuccino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip. The testimony we have just heard was the test to how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail. Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything. How are you gonna handle this, Nick? We only need to do one thing. Find where he's lying. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose, but it's what I do best. I'm the best at tripping old people. Spectacles? Dark glasses, you know, to you, one of the lenses was green, but the other was broken. Newfangled rubbish, that's why I remember him so well. He did have some kind of lens over his left eye. Well, I wouldn't have called that a pair of glasses. He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some and rival Mr. Kudo's sharp appearance. We better come up with something sharp and quick. Guess I'll have to wait to see if I should challenge him about the spectacles. The newspaper was a sports magazine paper, wasn't it? Oh, young hooligan, I nearly asked him. Can't you even read without fidgeting? How was I supposed to be able to read the back page with all that rustling going on? I need to find out if Guts and Braun retained his championship title. It was his paper, not yours. If you wanted to know so bad, why didn't you buy your own? We're asked to see who won. What are you looking at me like that for? Ow, ow, ow. Guts and Braun got beaten yesterday, by the way, anyway. The waitress? The wireless? The decadent young rascal. In my days, it was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless. Oh boy. And using an earpiece, it's selfish, that's what it said. It is. I was straining my ears, but I couldn't catch any of it. Was he that desperate to listen to the radio? What are you looking at me for like that for? Ow, 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 ow. You mean that the waitress you only saw from behind, right? You're one of those, are you? You never let anything go, isn't that right? Maybe. What does it matter if I saw her from the front or from the behind? It's not a lie. I better not push it until I've got some hard evidence. His free hand? Yes. Which hand was that? Were you listening before? Cloth ears? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? If his free hand wasn't his right hand, then which hand was it, you moron? How? Perhaps the great Mr. Trite has 3 hands. Yeesh. I was only asking, no need to gang up on me and treat me like a freak. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish one thing. That this old man's memory has more holes than a slice of Swiss. Guess we just need to find a contradiction in his testimony. Anything will do, even the smallest detail. We just need to make... we just need one mistake. Anything in the sports paper? Since he's across here, he would be able to see his left hand. Oh no. Let's... Is it this? Let's try that. I think it is. Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing your credibility of your memory. I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song. Care to tell us where this is going, Trite? According to Mr. Kuda, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking the coffee in his free hand, which would make it his left. What is this, kindergarten? But I would like the court to please take a look at this. There's the cuff the victim used, correct? Yes, and on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lip. Yeah, it's on the right side. You'd have had to really fucking hold that cup weird if he wanted to drink it out of his left. Yes, there is a stain left by the coffee. If you consider where the stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand. How? Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those pigeon seeds and sing the pigeon song. Alright. Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this simply is not acceptable. Wait. If you think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about what about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding that cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot and you spiky-haired yahoo are at fault. Who, me? Hotbot. Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already. Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but... Sure, I want to hear a little more. Mr. Godot. But this is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand. Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. Jesus, left to right hand. It shouldn't be that hard, buddy.